They're back my fuchsia that I rescued from my garden, and I've been growing in this small pot for the last couple of years. And you can see here in November it's had grown well last season and is now shutting down for the winter. In December it's totally dormant, but that means we can have a good look at the structure. Its shape is a little interesting. I do think there is some future potential in there. In February it's time to get this weird little tree back under control, which means shortening everything right back. The structure isn't too bad, it's mostly just overgrown, so I pretty much just pruned everything back and that was about it. But as I prune back here, you'll probably start to notice that the top is a little funky, especially that side branch. It's kind of too heavy looking and I can't really keep that. It's just all wrong, so it just has to go. But apart from that big cut, it was fairly straightforward pruning. And now it's nicely set up for the spring. In March here, there's not really much going on, but it's going to wake up soon, and when it does, it will need repotted. A few weeks later and you can see it's finally awake. The buds are pretty much opening, so it's the perfect time to sort out these roots. I just started by raking the top layer to loosen things up. As it's a plastic pot, it was pretty easy to squeeze and get the tree out, and as you can see it's a total block of roots. It's an aggressive grower in a small pot, so I knew it would be pretty packed in there. It looks pretty healthy though. I then just start trying to loosen all the soil and get everything untangled, so I can see what I'm actually working with. The fork was actually a little bit too much for the roots. It seemed just to rip them all apart and rip them off. They were maybe a little more delicate than I realised. So after just raking, I was left with this. So it's pretty much ready to go. It just needs a few final roots actually trimmed with the scissors and it's done. It's a decent little root ball. It's nice and flat, but I might have to be a bit more careful repotting it next time and not use the fork. I then just put it back in the same pot. It's not perfect, but it's doing well in there. You'll also see here the bark was sort of peeling off, so I just removed some of that just to make sure nothing could hide underneath and just to tidy it up. And here we are a few weeks later in April, where it looks like it's about to explode with growth. Which is exactly what it has done in May. Plenty of shoots have exploded and it looks very healthy. By June it looks very strong. It's also a mess, but I'm not worried about that for now. This tree is very much in the development stage. In July it looks alright, although I'm starting to wonder if I haven't been turning it to face the sun throughout the season. One side looks a little bare compared to the others, but again, that's alright. There's still plenty of years left before I'll be happy with this tree anyway. By September it's pretty much finished growing for the year. It maybe didn't grow as much as last season, but the weather wasn't too great this summer, so it did what it could. And here we are now, where it's started to shut down for the winter. You can see some yellowing of the leaves. Thanks for watching. See you next time.